The Urban Impact Show is sponsored by Green and Wood Media Services. Green and Wood uses digital media to help businesses, political campaigns, and organizations grow while increasing their community impact. Green and Wood Media is pleased to offer a digital media buying fellowship to train, develop, and mentor young people interested in digital media, politics, and advertising. Learn more at greenandwoodmedia.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna give you a quick moment to settle in, get ready, get yourselves together. Matthew, which camera am I supposed to be looking at? This one? Don't even matter. All right, cool.
Whatever.
Man, we ready. So I'm super glad that we're on locations this month because I don't have to remember the phone number, but I still like to shout out the fact that our normal studio is over at 6571 University Avenue, right over there, right in Windsor Heights. And so that's where we normally film our show at. And so we're super excited to be on locations in different spaces. DeWanna, where are we today?
Today we're at the Drake Law Clinic. Am I right? Okay, because someone asked me, like, is it the Drake Law Library? And I'm like, no, that's a whole nother place. So we're on close to campus, Drake University here. Super excited to have some conversations that we'll have at the second half of our show. You'll know why. You'll say, well, why are you here? And it's Black Business Month. What's that all about?
Drake is doing some Black stuff.
They are. And so you'll get the connection, later. But that's where we're at today. So excited to be here.
What up, bro?
What's up? How's it going?
How you doing?
Doing good. It feels so good in here.
You look so relaxed. I feel like I'm overdressed. We're just relaxed. Look relaxed.
I was at a football tryouts type of thing with Miguel today.
Wait a minute. Miguel is going to do football?
He does
He's in
every
8th
year.
grade?
7th.
He's in 7th grade? Wow.
So we were there
tackle
for
football or flag?
Tackle now.
Oh, we're going to have to come out and see Miguel play.
Please let us know the schedule. So
I will. We were there for about 4 or 5 hours. So it just feels good to sit in air conditioned.
So DeWanna, I know we closing in on time real quick. So real quick, one hot topic we can talk about, and then we're going to bring up our first Black business owner, Miss Courtney.
So I'm all about Serena Williams. Like, I know y'all probably think I'm going to say Donald Trump, but I'm really over that conversation. So I don't really want to talk about Donald Trump. He gets a lot of airtime. Yes. I want to talk about the fact that he really does. And never mind. I could say a lot about that, but I'm not.
We'll save that for next week.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week. Rants on Donald Trump. We'll do that next week. But not the views of Iowa Urban Media. I feel like I should say that. It's not the views of Iowa Urban Media, but
correct.
These are just the views of us, not the media company in general.
I feel like we have to say that now.
I do.
Cross 50,000 is
it's
almost mandatory.
You gotta say that.
Yeah.
But I read a really awesome article in Vogue magazine, and it had talked about Serena Williams. Now, she didn't come out and technically say it's retirement, because she didn't like that word, but it's like she's transitioning. And I thought that was a really nice way of putting that she's just moving on to something else. I do believe we'll still see her again, she says, after the US Open. But it's just kind of this conversation of leaving something that I think many people can relate to, of like, sometimes I notice people who are older that are still in these powerful positions. And it's like, when is the time to go? Maybe you should have went a long time ago. She's 41, I think, or so. I guess in the tennis world, that's old, but she's still doing amazing things. And probably. You know what? I heard Rob just lightly under his breath say in any world. For the record, y'all, I'm 44. And so Rob tried to be funny and was like, that's in any world. I am not old.
44 and fabulous.
Thank you. Very much so. Soon to be 45 at the end of this year.
Brittany's hilarious, man.
Just thank you. You know, Brittany's going to stick up with me on this, She
hasn't been indoctrinated yet.
So what do we think about Serena going into transition? She wants to have more kids.
At 41?
She does. I mean, there's some people out there that are still having kids at 41 and 42.
If you don't like my response, send emails to DeWanna.
Do not write me.
I think a lot of older women, a lot of people are using surrogates now, too. And I think, because Allison Felix is retired also. But I think we're just at that age now.
Old?
Allison's probably 36.
Oh, no.
We're
35.
We're at that age now, though. A lot of the great women athletes when we were younger were like big and popular. Now they're just getting older. You know what I mean? So we probably start seeing a lot more people retire, more women athletes retire.
Yeah. And think about what she put on hold, though.
Yeah,
you know,
your life.
I think a lot of people don't think about that, is that she puts her life on hold for going after, you know, certain things. She can break. I'm not going to say the tennis player's name because I can't remember, but she was on the verge of breaking a record. And she hasn't gotten there. Every time she's gone into a tournament, she's got there and it hasn't happened. Maybe it happens at the US Open. But I think people forget that when people give of themselves for, you know, the world of sports, they put so many things behind, you know, or on hold because they're trying to fulfill something. I really believe she enjoys the game of tennis.
LeBron James didn't put anything on hold.
His family, though, like think about how much his wife and children probably want more of his time. When you're a basketball player, you're literally on the road, gone pretty much most of the year.
But to your point, she did mention in that article that, you know, a man doesn't have to say, I'm putting sports on hold so that I can go have kids. You know, but that's what she said in there. She goes, if I was a man, I probably wouldn't be having this conversation with you right now. But because
it's just like,
I want to do more.
Said she's putting rap on hold to have a family.
Yeah.
I think in my thoughts, it's just that I would think, you know, you're a basketball player. You're not at home every single night. So when they retire, it's more so giving more time for their family. Not like women, like where I have to wait 9 months to have a baby.
Right. All right.
Well, hey y'all, we're gonna be we gotta close it out on the hot topics because we're moving on a tight schedule today. So we're getting ready to bring up our first Black business owner, Miss Courtney, and so we're gonna take a quick break. And as soon as we get back, we're gonna jump right into it. And Miss Brittany is gonna be kicking us off. So we'll be right back with our first Black-owned business owner. Check us out. Hey, press that share button. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I am one of your hosts, Brittany Dudley, and today we will be talking to Miss Courtney Rife. Her business is Holistic Services with Purpose. So Courtney, talk to us a little bit about your business. What made you start your business? What passion made you start your business?
So one of the first things that made me start my business was getting hurt at school while working with kids. I taught in elementary school and I got hurt doing it. And one of the things that helped me be able to recover and even be able to work every single day was my diet. I was told to go into a low inflammation diet, and based off of that, taking away gluten, wheat, sugar, even corn. Those things helped me to be able to get rid of pain and also inflammation and be able to work.
So you just researched things, that you could eat, or different remedies and things to do that was going to be better for your diet?
I actually had the privilege of seeing an integrative medicine doctor.
Oh.
And what I realized is that doctor is so expensive that most of the people that I know will never go to that type of doctor.
Right.
So the things that I learned and the things that helped me, I wanted to be able to spread that around to everybody. My family first, because we know that there's like high blood pressure, diabetes.
In our community.
Exactly. And even cancer, and even people being overweight and just not knowing how to utilize food as nutrition. So that's what really motivated me to start my nutrition business.
So I want to fair warn you. I say whatever comes to my head.
Okay.
Don't be offended.
Okay.
I promise it's not to be offensive. It's just because one of us have to be the wild card here. So I'm be honest with you. That young poultry, that young yard bird that clucks and walks around, she tastes good. Real good. Add a little mild sauce on that thing, slap some seasoning with it. She real good. Whether you fry her,
Baker,
Especially fried,
dip her, however you want to do her, as long as she's done, she tastes real good, and so I see you've brought some things for them to taste. And so tell us a little bit about what's on the table.
Okay, so one of the things that I do in terms of nutrition is I do a lot of plant-based cooking. So one of the things that I brought was some plant-based foods. I also do gluten-free, so I brought some gluten-free things. One of the things that people ask me is, Courtney, how do you give up chicken? How do you give up beef? How do you give up pork? And those are things
don't use chicken as an example.
It's not hard.
I'm just playing.
Mind thing. We can actually do it. I did it for a year during COVID, and just gave up meat.
You gave up that yard bird?
I gave everything. Yeah, all the meat, because I have arthritis and fibromyalgia, and so I started to research what I needed to do to help me, because the pain, like every day, I wake up in pain. Every day, and it's bad, and so I started to get to a point where I needed to take control over my life, and knew that I could. It was a little struggle at first, because your body's used to those things. But once you do it, I have found that the plant-based meats, even the chicken, it's not bad. I know Rob won't look at me. It's not bad, but I would love to try what you have, and maybe talk Rob into trying something too.
And I'm going to
Chicken
tell
right
you,
now
I'm
is something
from Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm from the South.
Yeah.
I grew up eating, and I don't want to tell on my parents. It's
okay.
I grew up eating like sugar with rice and butter.
What's wrong with that? Who you telling on?
So did we. We grew up on that too. Sugar on the toast and everything else. Yes.
Eli gonna get a little bit of
everything.
sugar on his rice. Sugar don't go in grits. So I want to be
Sugar
clear.
on grits.
On
Sugar,
grits.
butter, and grits.
Sugar is a
Elias will
staple.
never be eating sugar and grits.
But
I
if
wanna
he
be
ever
clear on
tries
that.
it, he
ain't
will
gonna
like
try
it.
it. He ain't gonna try it. No, yeah.
That's how it is.
Sugar doesn't go in grits. I want to be clear on that. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell us what's on the table.
So the way that I grew up, I learned that I can't eat that way anymore. It's not good for me. I literally cannot work, physically, if I eat things that
Want me
I
to
can't.
help you?
So this is the first thing. I have, this is a plant-based sausage heart.
Oh, that's a sausage. Okay.
And I
y'all?
made that with plantain. So that's that bread. It looks like bread, but it's just plantains.
That don't look like bread. That look like a waffle.
Did you make it in a waffle
Okay,
maker?
so I'm taking
Yes.
it. Y'all are passing on this because
and
y'all have faster
as you guys
food. No, we
notice,
can try it.
my logo is a heart. Mm-hmm. So I really like to stick
so
with
you
that,
out here
with
trying
that
to be
heart
creative.
shape. Mm-hmm. I love it.
So tell me again,
because
this
it's
is
love.
Biscuits and stuff.
plant-based
Plant-based
sausage.
sausage.
Okay, I'm gonna take a piece of this because I know this is
Inside
probably
of
good.
a
Do you want to try some of this
plantain.
too?
Try the meat.
Okay, here, you want to try the meat? Okay.
I think you need it together. Just pinch off a piece. Take
Come. Y'all act
take
like
a
y'all
little
act like
piece
we
of
ain't together every Sunday.
No, I'm like take it because I'm about to take like a for real bite off of this because I know Rob's not.
And my friend back there wants to try plant-based too.
It's good. It's just spicy. The meat's a little spicy, but the meat's good.
That's good. It is a little spicy.
This is
but
really happening right now.
I
on this
actually
show.
like it.
Wow. Okay.
good.
That just happened.
This is
On
good,
this
Rob.
show.
And that's like naturally
Vegan
gluten-free.
Another
food.
piece of the meat.
Or is this considered vegan?
That's vegan.
Okay.
Do you want to tell our viewers the difference?
I was going to say, so
So-
with the next 2 minutes we got with you before we go to our next Black on Business, it's
really good.
Give us
I
like the
Some major differences.
the
between-
rundown.
So when we talk about plant-based versus vegan, now some of my friends who do plant-based, and even including myself, I get really big on the 100% plant-based end. People who eat plant-based 100% don't eat oil. They don't eat processed food. So people who are vegan still eat oils, still eat processed food. Plant-based
like
is
the Beyond
eliminating.
Burger or something like that.
Beyond Burger, anything that's processed outside of like using like almond flour, that's processed, but it's nothing taken out of it to make it unhealthy.
Okay.
That's why like white rice is processed. There are nutrients taken out of the rice.
Okay.
So plant-based is really gearing towards increasing vegetable and fruit content, eliminating processed food, or at least being so cautious about it that you're not eating it every single day. There are waves of how you can do plant-based, because you can be at 90% plant-based and incorporate some meat, lean, things that are like fish into your diet, and that is important, very important for some people.
And the fish is real fish.
Real fish.
Oh, okay.
And it's very important for some people because some people aren't metabolizing the type of nutrients that you need in order to be well. And so for a plant-based diet, we're not just looking at, you know what, I just want to do this all right all the time. All I'm going to do is eat vegetables. I am looking at balancing my nutrients. So sometimes you may see me with gluten-free Oreos, even though they are processed, because for me, coming from the South and growing up eating sugar every single day, every single meal, sometimes this is just a cautious thing. Like, you know what, don't eat the whole pack. But it doesn't have gluten in it. It doesn't have dairy
Can't eat
in
the
it.
whole pack, Rob. That's
So,
the whole pack.
You know,
Don't eat it.
so try
But
that.
he
on that.
won't try it. But Courtney, I know we do have to wrap up. But so one, I want you to come back to the show when we do our health segment on just different ways to eat healthy and things of that sort and different things you can try. But could you tell our viewers how to get in contact with you if they have more questions or want to learn more? Give them your information.
So one way that you get in contact with me is on my website, www.crifesholisticnutrition.com. Another way to get in contact with me is on Facebook, C. Rife's Holistic Services with Purpose. And then you can also get in contact with me by phone. And my phone number is 515-779-1102. Any of those avenues will get you to me.
Okay.
This is good.
Thank
All right,
you.
well, thank you so much. Please
Thank you
leave
so
this
much.
stuff right here so they can continue to try it. And thank you for coming on to the show. Don't go nowhere just yet. But man, this is, I will say shout out to you doing that research and stuff, because hearing you talk, I was thinking to myself, like, for me to try and think, oh my God, is this process? Is this with how quickly we be moving and stuff like that? It can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. So shout out to you for taking that holistic step, hence the name of your business. So shout out to you for that. Guys, we'll be right back with our next Black-owned business owner. Stay tuned. I'm sure they're enjoying this. You know what?
Yeah,
during the break, I'm gonna try.
This is really
that,
good.
but it won't be on
It is
camera.
really good.
It won't be on camera though.
You're not gonna spit it out.
We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. Thank you so much. We just had Miss Courtney Rife on as she talked about the food that she makes in her business, that they tried the food. Good luck to y'all who are
It was
plant-based
good.
or vegan.
It really was good. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Rob's
good-
gonna keep eating chicken. Just put it out there. Nothing's changed today.
Good for y'all.
But what if she did like a meal prep for you?
And good for y'all. Our next business owner is sitting here on the couch with us as we are on location here at Drake. And I'm super excited. So, quick story. For those who haven't seen the If I'm Being Honest latest video, the If I'm Being Honest latest video just dropped on my mother's birthday, August 12th. It was an emotional day. What we decided to do, I put in 200 and our team and Dewana put in $200 as well. So we spent like $400 we bought over 70 flowers. We wrote notes and we bought over 20 people's lunches on August 12th. We dropped the video that night. Super, super excited about it. And we were in the mall walking and we walked past a boutique. And I was like, all right, like we gonna keep, and poor Matt, Matt's just like, Rob, find somebody so we can get this on film. I gotta go, right? so I'm like, all right, let's ride. So we go into Foot Locker and all of this stuff. And I'm a vibe person, y'all know. You remember doing it with me, and so
You're so a vibe person.
I am. So I gotta check the. I
Or
gotta
you
check
even go back, be like, hold on, let's go there.
Yeah, I will, because I'm like, so when we walked past, I was like, huh. But I kept going anyway. On our way back, I was like, nah, we're not gonna pass this again. So I went in and I was like, before we get started, are you okay with being on camera? And Miss Alicia was like, yeah. I said, all right, cool. And then that's how you gotta go watch the video to see what happened next. But then what then occurred was my sister Chrissy called and she was like, yeah, you should bring her on the show for your Black-owned business stuff. So y'all know Joppa's, we always talking about Joppa and Ruby B, right? So it's not like we need to go to Joppa and Ruby B, because we're always talking about them anyway. And so I was like, oh, wow, you're right. Like, so my sister finally did like I had asked her to do. First time in history there.
Oh my God.
She did like I had asked her to do.
Chris is watching.
She's
You're
all
going to
ears.
get a comment here in just a minute.
She is.
I already
She's all
know
ears.
it's coming.
Oh, well, it's my show. And so I was like, yo, you're right. I said, can you get a hold of her so we can get her on the show? And lo and behold, I got her on the show, and this turned out to be just such a blessing because I was like, man, this is super, super dope. So thank, Maddie and Brittany for getting it set up, actually making it come to fruition. But this is so dope. So tell us a little bit about the business, a little bit about you, and just, give us the 411, the info.
Okay. Well, I own Abundance Junkie Boutique, which is located in Merle Hay Mall.
Give us the name one more time. What was the name?
Abundance Junkie.
I love that name.
When I read that, I said, hey, glow abundance. Yes, yes.
People ask me all the time, like, what made me name my business that? When you have big dreams, like your brain does not sleep.
Right.
And I was up one night and I was just like, Abundance Junkie, I deserve everything that I want and then some, and I should be comfortable with having it.
Don't get him up here shouting now. Don't get him shouting. Don't get him shouting.
So that's where the name came from. I started online in 2019. I signed a lease with Merle Hay early 2020. I've been in that mall since. I've actually graduated to a space twice the size of what I started with. Personally, I'm a mom of 3. Well, 4, including my stepchild. My kids are 6, 3, and 1, and then my stepchild is 9. If you shop with me, my kids are always there. For me, my goal is to help women build confidence. Like if you come into my store, I can pretty much tell people are having a bad day or kind of what their energy is like. I like to send people out smiling and laughing and having a good time. That usually brings them back, especially plus size women, because a lot of times we struggle with like, does this look good on me? Or I don't like this part of my body. And I've been like, team, put it on. Just put it on. Do you feel confident? Wear it. And I'm very heavy on it. I am size inclusive, so I go from small up to 3X. I am working on trying to find bigger items as well, but it's a work in progress. I've worked retail my whole life. I lost my job in COVID like most people. And then I was just like, I'm going to bet on myself. I was the crazy lady who went and signed a mall lease while 5 months pregnant and decided to invest all of my money into running a business. And so far it's paid off. Like it definitely has its moments, but for the most part, it's been pretty successful.
What is it for you that business owner to business owner, I have a couple of businesses as well. What is it that does keep you going? Because I know there's moments as sometimes in business, things kind of, it gets low or you feel like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. What is it that continues to kind of give you your motivation to keep going?
The community and my kids. Like I have regular customers that are always shopping with me no matter what. They come in, they give me words of encouragement. And then for my kids, I like, to show them that we can do whatever we put our minds to. I grew up poor, like dirt poor. And the fact that now I have my own business. I'm young, I'm in my mid 20s. And my kids are super excited. Like, they're like, my mom has a store. And when I first opened, my kid was 5 at the time. He would go and grab the hand sanitizer and like squirt it in people's hands. Just those small moments that I know down the line will have such a big impact.
You are doing great.
Thank you.
What's next for Abundance Junkie? Like you started around pandemic time. What's next?
Just keep growing. Right now, I'm also trying to get in some events to give back to the community. I will be doing a coat and blanket drive towards the end of the year. I just want to be like more active in the community and figure out what are the ways I can help other people grow as well.
Are you going to go to Sister Soul Fest? Have you heard of it?
I have, and every time I go to look, like it's sold out. It sells out so fast.
But you can go and you can be a guest.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll reach out.
You should go because it's a lot of women. Business owners that started around the same time as you. And I think just having a community of women kind of doing the same thing. And as you're trying to grow your business, I think it would just be great for you to be a part of it.
I agree with that.
There's going to be three women from our show hosting our show. Feel free to come sit down with them. And, give your thoughts on different things that day as well. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Every year, we pride ourselves in just being a part of our community and being a part of what's going on. We're growing, and we're only growing because our community is allowing for it. You can come on and take it because we ain't gonna let her sit up here and just cry like that, and we not give her some type of tissue. It is emotional, isn't it?
It is.
It's emotional because everything that you have worked for, you have put your life on the line for this business to flourish.
Yeah.
And so I thank God for you and for your hard work and for your tenacity. And thank you for letting us come into your shop. Now, you got your boutique clothes on, don't you?
I do.
Tell us what you got on.
I'm just wearing the two-piece cardigan set. They were super popular. It's a long
cute.
cardigan.
That is cute.
Do you
With
have
some
different
high-waist
colors?
pants. I do.
What
And I'm
colors
actually
do you have?
working on trying to get more. Right now I have taupe and olive green.
Ooh,
What
that
days
olive
are you
green,
open?
yes.
Days and hours?
Right now I'm open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 8. September 1st, I plan on going back full time, so I'll be back 7 days a week.
2 to 8 on
10 to 8.
10 to 8 on.
Tuesday through Saturday.
So not open on Mondays
Or Sundays.
or Sundays.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Anything else you want to share before we
Yeah.
wrap up?
So besides going to Murray Mall and spending money, how do people get a hold of you and like if they want to support and different stuff like that?
You guys can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Abundance Junkie, and it's JUNKY. I also have a phone number. I do VIP appointments, so if I'm ever closed and somebody like really needs to get in for something, you can call or text 515-639-0071. I do have a website as well, abundancejunkie.com. People
Can you style people like
Yeah.
like let's say for
Duana had
example.
an
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like listening to you. I'm like, you're going to be hearing from me very soon.
And I was just going to say, like my sister Chrissy needs more style. And,
Chrissy
Chrissy just
did
said
it.
oh,
She
last
got there.
night.
Chrissy shops there. She
Let
just
him
had
have
a
it,
dress
Chrissy.
on.
I'm going to look at the comments right now. Let him have it right now.
Hey, look, my show. I'm gonna throw my jabs all I can.
Oh my
I'll deal with it when I get
this
home.
is just terrible.
I do have customers that sometimes they'll find like
What about
one
men
piece.
though? Like you left us out.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So what can we get?
I actually had a plan to start doing menswear as well.
Just do the little shorts,
Joggers?
the little shorts and joggers.
Okay.
Yeah, Will and I'll be right on up in there.
Okay.
Will and I'll be right on up in there.
You will hear from me though. I'll be talking. You will hear from me though for sure.
In all seriousness, as we wrap this up, if you could just say an encouraging word to another business owner out there who may feel like, you know what, I'm done with this. What would you say to them really quickly?
I would just say, just keep going, through the bottom pits when you feel like you're at your worst. Like if you're already at the bottom, you can only go up. Like it always gets better. Just keep pushing and have tunnel vision. Don't compare your journey to somebody else's because it might discourage you. Just have tunnel vision, and what's for you is for you. All you have to do is put in the work and keep going.
Miss Abundance Junkie, thank you for being
Thank you so
on the
much.
Thank you.
Impact Show today. Share this, and we'll be right back with our next two guests. And it's going to be a lot of fun as we dive into this. There's a lot of black stuff happening on here. I'll see y'all in a few.
The Urban Impact Show is sponsored by Green and Wood Media Services. Green and Wood uses digital media to help businesses, political campaigns, and organizations grow while increasing their community impact. Green and Wood Media is pleased to offer a digital media buying fellowship to train, develop, and mentor young people interested in digital media, politics, and advertising. Learn more at greenandwoodmedia.com. Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, where we have had a really great time talking to our Black business owners. And now we're switching things up just a little bit. Many of you may not know we have To Kill a Mockingbird, which is coming to the Des Moines Performing Arts August 23rd through the 28th. I practiced that one, made sure I had those dates right.
Is that Alexis in them? Are they in that?
No.
Which one
This
is
is To Kill a Mockingbird. Have you heard of? So most middle schoolers have to read that book.
Yeah, I think everybody had to read it. I think I got the Cliff Notes.
Except me.
read it.
I went to a school district, which I won't say because I don't want that particular district writing me. But we were not required to read it in that district.
I had to, yeah.
And
this
there
was in
weren't
Chicago.
And there weren't so many people that looked like me in that district. So we didn't read it. So I'm embarrassed to say I've never read the book To Kill a Mockingbird. My daughter has, and it's really good. It's going to be a really good play.
It's actually a really good book too.
Yeah.
I was joking about the Cliff Notes that didn't exist back when I was in school. Like you actually had to read it.
Or someone could read it for you and tell you about it too.
Oh yeah, that was
Just.
that's the teacher in you. That's the teacher. In
I'm
you.
just saying.
Nobody cheats in her class.
No. So I'm just saying. But yeah.
Yeah. So who we got?
So we have Erica and Elena with me, and Erica works. Now, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but you are director of wrongful conviction.
Yes.
But are you like one of very few that do the work that you're doing? Is that correct?
Yeah. So in Iowa, my office is the only office doing post-conviction work for the state public defender. And
So I want to make sure. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Conviction is after they have been charged, tried, and now they are serving a sentence.
yes, all of our clients are in prison in Iowa.
Currently incarcerated.
Most of them are serving life without parole. Most of the cases we work on come from the 80s and the 90s.
And are most of these individuals Black?
How do you define most would be part of my concern.
50%.
In litigation right now, we're probably a little under that.
Okay.
Elena is our new staff attorney. She's a recent Drake Law grad. She was one of my first clinic students. And so just, it was a year ago that Drake created a new clinic, the Wrongful Convictions Clinic. So prior to that, I was kind of a one-woman show for a while, and then I got an investigator, and now we're a 3-person office.
Okay.
And so we handle cases across the state of Iowa with claims of innocence. And To Kill a Mockingbird has always held a special place in my heart. And I think Elena as well did a lot of work as an undergrad with Drake. And you want to tell them a little bit about the program you did at the Polk County Jail?
So when I was in undergrad and kind of after undergrad, I taught rehabilitational classes in the Polk County Jail through a local organization called Crossroads of Iowa, which is what kind of made me go to law school to begin with and want to do post-conviction work.
Elena, tell the story though, because was this the direction you always were going in, so tell us the story about that, because I know it's kind of a unique story of how you got into this work. And then once you talk about that, I want you guys just talk a little bit more about the work that you do here.
So I was a music major in undergrad.
Okay.
So that's kind of the direction that I was originally going to go. But just being able to teach, it just happened to fall in my lap. My honors thesis was in music therapy in the correctional setting. And so I started to teach classes in the jail and really fell in love with working with the people who were incarcerated, and went to law school, and here I am.
Wow.
I would just like to say on record, and this may be controversial, but I like to say on record, our prison system is completely messed up. It is animalistic. Like, we take a man and put him in a 4x4 cell and tell him to think about his actions and to come out of that cell different from the way he went in. If to me, if that's not animalistic, it's like putting a dog in a kennel and telling them to think about their actions and what they're doing. They don't want to be there. They want to be free. They want to be out. And to me, you don't do human beings like that. Now, Don't get me wrong. I know there's a bunch of people who are going to try to jump in on this thing. You know, oh, they raped a child. They murdered this family member. They did that. Absolutely, people should pay for their crimes. I am not saying that at all. But the way that our prison system is designed and set up now, in my Rob Johnson's opinion, not Urban Impact, not Iowa Urban Media, not Dewana, not our other hosts, in my opinion, the way our prison system is set up right now is so backwards. You know, you have men and women being raped in prison. Like, you have men and women learning new crimes in prison. You have men and women not coming out of prison better than they went in, just coming out more slicker than they went in. And it's like, and then half of them, which is where I'm going with this, to bring you back in, is some of them are, they didn't even do it, right? And then we have this notion. I watched this video the other day, this notion where if you're there, you're a criminal. And well, everybody says that they didn't do it.
I would challenge you though. I don't
Please,
I don't think the notion they're a criminal happens in prison. It happens when the arrest is made, and especially for our clients that are Black, it happens as soon as they're charged. And the presumption of innocence does not exist. We're highlighting our case of Uric Fountain with the To Kill a Mockingbird show. So we're if you come to the show, we are doing pre-show conversations right before the play starts. And we're going to be talking with some of Uric's family here in Des Moines. He has been in prison since 1987 for a murder he didn't commit. He was one of 3 young Black men convicted of this murder. Only one confessed. And guess what? He's not in prison anymore. He got a deal. And the other 2
Whoever talks first.
The other 2 are doing life without parole and all white juries. And the only evidence against Uric was a shoe print that matched 100%, according to our DCI analyst, and the word of the guy who got the deal. And that's it. And a couple of people have come forward over, the last 30 years and said, you know what, they were making me implicate Uric. They told me they'd take my kids if I didn't testify and cooperate. They made me say, I saw him with these other people, because they had no way to corroborate the word of the Cody, of the one.
I want to be clear. The they that we're talking about are prosecuting attorneys.
Yes.
And active, not currently maybe, but active police officers.
Des Moines Police, yes.
Yes. And so we have a Black man sitting in prison since
a 20-year-old Black man.
Since I was born in 1988. Since I was born, he's been sitting in prison for a crime he did not commit.
Yes, I believe so.
Sitting in an animalistic cell with folks who have done real crimes, real things, for a crime he didn't do.
Yep, he was 20 when he went to prison. The other co-defendant was 18. And there's problems with the prosecutor. He later lost his license. The prosecutor who did all the depositions and all the investigation couldn't actually be at the trial. He didn't have a license at the time. He'd been suspended. Nobody said anything. The witnesses, that came forward and recanted, they are now, of course, it's been so long, they are suffering from dementia. And it is also a generational thing. And I would challenge your viewers to think about how we can help you, how you can help us, because we see one of Mr. Howard, who's in prison for this, his son is now also at Fort Madison. And one of the witnesses, we went to talk to her. Her grandson just got life for a murder. And there is something that has to change. And we have to...
It's systematic.
Yes.
Right? This thing, the way that this thing is designed, right? It is, and I'm sorry, Dee.
No, because you're saying the words I'm thinking, so just keep going. Just keep going. I had my conversation a little bit with them off air.
I'm clearly upset.
Yeah.
Because I think this... I get emotional thinking about this because I think about our babies. And I think about how somebody say that they fit a description.
Yes.
And now they are arrested and put in jail for something that they did not do. And nobody hears them. Nobody listens. They keep saying, that wasn't me. I did not do it.
And if you get stopped or your picture ends up right in the system, even though you didn't do anything and you later get go, some witness down the road could pick you out and say it was you. And unless DNA can prove it wasn't you, because Uric had an alibi. He was with his brothers and went back to his girlfriends during the time of this murder, but the jury didn't believe him. So I think, we're working really hard, obviously, on lots of cases, and we're trying to teach law students how to be better attorneys and how to listen and build relationships with their clients. Because one of the things I've seen in my career is that some attorneys don't listen, especially when it's across race. And they also don't understand the family dynamics of a young client.
It's a cultural thing.
Yes.
Yes.
This is why elections have consequences.
Yes.
You put the right Polk County attorney in office, and I bet you this was under the watch of the exiting Polk County attorney right now. I don't like him, and y'all can put that on record.
I think there's a lot prosecutors can do.
And the fact is that you have so many of these cases under this watch, under this administration for the last 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And this was supposed to be a Democrat in office.
In name only, right? My opinion. Not the states.
I know I'm getting a sign that we only have a few minutes
No, we're
left,
good.
so
We have 13 minutes left, but we're good. But I want to talk about this because the part too that becomes troubling is we don't have a lot of people doing this work. And so therefore we have many people who are probably needing services. So just talk a little bit more about how you can get services, kind of the need for this work, to be done, and kind of what does your caseload even look like right now?
Okay, so
is that part of your caseload?
Well, there's some statistics in there, but we may not have time for that.
No, let's get to it.
But we are basically only two attorneys paid by the state to look at anybody who has been convicted and claims they're innocent. And so we work with the Midwest Innocence Project. They are based out of Kansas City, Missouri. They cover 5 states, and they work really hard to do a lot of DNA testing. And so we've tested a bunch of cases, and nothing has been exonerating because Iowa doesn't keep evidence.
We don't.
So we have 16 exonerations on the books in Iowa since 1989. There's absolutely 0 that were due to DNA. Most of them are police misconduct cases and medical misdiagnosis where a child died and they charged the caregiver with murder. And so we have an application process that you can find it online at themip.org. You can also contact our office or MIP to have one sent to your loved one if you have somebody incarcerated in Iowa. And then we go through that. And that's part of what we use the students for, is they help us gather trial transcripts, police reports, lab reports, and we read everything. And we go usually and talk to the person if we have questions. It kind of depends on the claim. We also then look for the red flags. Do you want to talk about what we look for?
If there's any forensic issues, footprints, fingerprints, DNA potentially that you could test for, maybe a potential coerced false confession, police misconduct, hidden evidence for Brady claim, prosecutors who maybe suppressed evidence, didn't ever turn it over to the defense at the time of trial.
And common names. There are certain prosecutors, DCI agents, police officers that we have, I guess they're shady. We keep them on our list. We know they're problematic. And so if we see some of these common names, then it makes you really look into it a little bit more. Right now we have about 10 cases that are either in litigation or heavy duty investigation where we're getting ready to file. The other big problem is that you have to do a lot of legwork. So during COVID, people didn't want to talk to strangers. And so we definitely had some cases that kind of got put on hold. But once the students help us get a grip on what's going on, we usually have a big meeting and debate what would we have to do to prove this person's innocent? How could we do it? And do we have the resources to do that and do it right?
Do you guys have? Would you take volunteers to help, or is this information too sensitive to let volunteers step in unless they could sign an NDA and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. So it kind of depends on what your skill set is or what your interest is, and we definitely have
I want to talk to
attorneys.
the prisoner.
Yeah, we have attorneys who'll give us boxes of things. Sometimes they're VHS tapes. So if you still have a VCR,
I can ask my sister Christian.
and you want to watch a bunch of videos. But no, we do confidentiality agreements. We do trainings. Definitely sometimes finding people is hard, and getting the community's help with that is always great. Spreading the word about what we're doing, telling people the stories of our clients, writing to our clients. If you want to go down to Fort Madison and visit clients, the visiting room is finally open again, and so you can go.
I go to Fort Madison in the capacity that Will and I work in. We go to Fort Madison to meet with a lot of our African American inmates out there. We were even working on getting the NAACP started in the jail.
There is one.
Yeah, that's what we worked on.
Okay.
It actually just got its, what is it called, a charter, Will? Yeah. Okay. And so, those gentlemen who were working on that, we were there meeting with them and the staff. And I remember being in there calling out the staff in front of the inmates for behavior that I felt just was so weird. I'm gonna give a quick example of a lady I saw on TikTok, a nurse, and this is why representation matters to me. A clear example, there was a black nurse on a floor, and there was a white nurse who had a black patient. And the white nurse comes out of the room and calls the psych ward for a psych eval on this patient. And she says on the phone to the psych ward, the patient keeps hitting herself in the head. So the black nurse says, "Is your patient's black, right?" She says, "Yes." She says, "Well, in our culture, like if your head is itching with certain hairstyles, we pat our head to help with the itching of what's going on." And she says, "Can you go ask her if her head is itching, and maybe we can get her the little straw things to get in there to help her with the itch." Come to find out, it was an itch, but because of the cultural difference, and had that black nurse not been there, this psych eval would have been performed on this patient, and they could have deemed whatever at that moment. And now this is in her file and affects all different types of things. Yeah. And so having moments like this where somebody is being heard and somebody is being seen after going through our justice system and realizing that this is just...
Yeah. We put a lot of emphasis on building trust with our clients, regardless of their race. But anyone who's been wrongfully convicted, obviously, does not trust the system because it didn't do what it was supposed to do, right? They were innocent, they cooperated, and they still went to prison. And so we take our law students to Fort Madison, and we do visits, and we stay as long as we can. Now that there's no vending machines, it's usually about 6 hours before people are getting too hungry to focus. But I also will say that I have a group of older white men clients, and then my African American clients, and they have different experiences in prison, and it's very, very clear that how they experience prison is not the same. And most of Fort Madison, we have another case that we're highlighting is that of Gentrick Hicks, who he was convicted before I was born in 1976.
Wow.
Of murder, and that was based on a bad ID. The woman, there was a couple and their grown son ran a roadside hotel, and a black man came in asking about a room, and then when the woman turned, he held up a gun and tried to rob them. Well, her son came to her rescue, struggled with the gun, and he died.
Discharged and died, yeah.
And so she goes to the courthouse, and they, in the police reports, gathered all the Negro men they could find, and she said that, well, they all have the same typical face. And that is in the transcripts. And the only other thing against convicting Mr. Hicks is a fingerprint that matched according to some statistics, which is not science.
Right.
How much time
We
got,
have
Maddie?
like 4 minutes left. 2? Are we down to 2? Okay. So
Let's do
really
these
quickly, I'd
statistics
like you to
real
give statistics, and then I'd also like you to tell what you'll be doing August 19th quickly as we can, and then I'll remind people about To Kill a Mockingbird that will be coming, and then if you can share that information with us, we'll share it on the Urban Impact Show's page so that we can encourage people to attend the event.
Yeah. So we work pretty closely with the ACLU on issues that we can't deal with, like mail and prison disciplinary issues as well. So I do rely on their statistics. And one of their last reports talked about how a black person in Iowa is 11 times more likely than a white person to be incarcerated. It's a sobering statistic, right? Because only 4% of Iowans are black.
Right.
11 more times to be arrested, but
To be incarcerated.
To be incarcerated, but 4 times less the population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the report found that part of the disparity is not because black people commit more crimes, like some of the prosecutors have said, if you're familiar with Vander Sanden from Lynn County, but because of the implicit bias in law enforcement, because of poverty, because of the over-policing in black communities.
Yeah, it's like if we're only 4%, how are we doing more crimes than everybody else,
Right.
and it's less of us?
I mean, nationally, Iowa ranks 5th in racial disparities and arrests.
What else you got?
So the other thing that I think is sobering is that the majority of our prison population in Iowa comes out of 4 counties. So these are the 4 counties that we need to do the most work in.
Yes,
Polk,
we live in it.
Black Hawk,
Not surprising. Yep.
Scott County, Davenport, Lynn County.
Cedar.
Cedar
So in
Rapids.
the most populated areas where black folks are, Black Hawk, Polk, Lynn. So you got Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, Waterloo, and Davenport.
Yeah. Black Hawk is the leader, and 51% of the black population in prison comes from Black Hawk County.
And that's Waterloo.
And they have a relatively newer prosecutor. This is a legacy of Tom Ferguson.
And their chief of police is very much different. And their city council and their mayor are making strides.
So,
for
one of the things we
changes.
talk about is if we can't prove someone's innocent, what can we do to help them, right? Because we can't just leave them sitting there. And sometimes we can't definitively prove because the evidence is gone. And so we talk about whether we can get more conviction integrity units. It's become a nationwide thing. And we've talked with Kimberly Graham about that, where she would be able to go back and look, right? And be like, okay, this kid was 18. He had a minimal role in the crime, and we're going to resentence him to something that isn't life without parole.
Right.
He's already done 30 years.
I told Kim to give me a job.
You'd be good.
August 19th.
Things like that.
Yeah, so we got August 19th. There's going to be an event. Tell the viewers about that. We're going to share that from our Facebook page as well. But tell us about
So we're
that.
excited. It's going to be here at the legal clinic, downstairs in the courtroom. We are hosting a panel about the relevance. Elena named it.
Modern Mockingbird.
So that we can talk about how the lessons, the way race influenced Tom Robinson's wrongful conviction, the society pressures on his public defender, on the famous Atticus Finch, on how an all-white jury, how that still happens, how that happened in the 80s, the 90s, how we have people still sitting in prison today in Iowa that they didn't suffer the same fate as Robinson, but there's lessons to be learned from that. So Professor Robert Rigg, who started and founded the criminal law clinic here, he represents misdemeanor clients in Polk County, mostly white, black people. And then we have Mary Wolford, who studies justice reform at Drake. Elena will be talking about Mr. Fountain's case, and Mr. Fountain's brother Mark will be here to talk about growing up black in Des Moines and the effect of having your little brother or your big brother go to prison for life for something he didn't do.
Well,
Oh, and legal aid.
and legal aid. All right. Well, wonderful. This is great information. Of course, we start these conversations to bring you all back again. So we will have a more in-depth conversation because I think this is a really important topic for our viewers to really know about what is happening in those counties. And there's so much to unpack that we didn't give it enough time to unpack in this short amount of time. But I hope you both would be able to come back so we can have
We're so happy you invited us.
yes, deeper conversation. So this is just the beginning. We want to thank everyone. Am I just closing things out right now? So we just want to thank everyone for tuning into the Urban Impact Show, where we're going to continue for the next 2 weeks to be on location. We will be at the Grub Y next week for Back to School Bash. We will also be at Sister Soul Fest at Evelyn K. Davis Park at the end of the month. So we're excited to continue to uplift and encourage our Black-owned business owners. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week on the Urban Impact Show.